Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're watching Green Wave TV, alternative media television. When can we expect a total breakdown and collapse of our society? And my answer to that question is, are we not already there? We take a look at really everything that's happening economically and politically at the moment, whether or not it's the Sandy Hook scapegoat that President Barack Obama, his administration, and the Democrats, and really the totalitarian regime that has placed him in the most powerful position in the world, trying to confiscate American guns, totally destroy the Constitution and Second Amendment and our right to bear arms and defend ourselves. You know, we look at those tragic events, we look at these psychotropic, overly medicated SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, MK Ultra candidates, and we see how they're devoid of emotion, completely detached from reality, and Americans want to know why. Hey, why would this person, instead of killing himself and blowing his own brains out, go in and murder innocent children? Well, not only are we filling in the gaps and finding that there's more and more evidence to support that this is a government-run psyop to destroy the Second Amendment, but looking at these characters themselves in more detail, we see common themes in all of them. Whether or not it's Jared Loughner here in Tucson, Arizona, and his bug eyes and his crazy ramblings on YouTube and social media, or whether or not this be the MK Ultra Batman shooting in Aurora, Colorado, or the latest shooting that we've had here in Sandy Hook. We notice a theme. We see a detachment from reality. People want to know, is it the violent video games? Is it Hollywood? Is it the movies that Quentin Tarantino puts out? Is it this stimuli? Is it social media? Is all the tablets and the iPads and the iPods that have just distanced Generation X and Y from reality? Do these people even know how to behave in a normal social manner in today's world? And can they define from non-reality and reality and tell the difference? And when we look at these individuals, we look at these people, it's pretty abundantly clear that they can't. They're utterly devoid of emotion. If you look in their eyes, it's like they have no feeling behind them. There's no life. It's like the life's been sucked out of them. And it's interesting, not interesting, but it just goes to show you what Obama is focused on. Of course, he's been working legislation, whether or not this is the UN disarmament treaty that he was working on months ago before any of these tragic, convenient shootings happened in the first place. It's obvious to see how our society is just completely broken down, the very fabric of it. There really is no society anymore, and it's exactly why our rights, our fundamental civil liberties, the Constitution is being called an archaic document by these people at the moment. It's exactly why people like Hillary Clinton are fabricating concussions and blood clots so they don't have to testify in Benghazi Gate. These are massive cover-ups. These are Nixon-esque Watergate cover-ups.
And so tonight, to you, the great silent majority.
And you see, we live in a society now where you can't hide anything because there's a camera, there's a smartphone, there's a microphone on you at all times. But what they can do is manipulate your thinking. They can manipulate the news, the media. They can confuse you. And that's what I think we're experiencing a lot within the social media genre today, is a sense of heightened confusion.
Would you please be quiet? For crying out loud, would you stop yammering for longer than 3 seconds? I can't even hear myself think.
Who to believe, what's real, what's not. And obviously none of these characters, none of these psychopaths can really tell the difference. But there's a common thread and common theme with every single one of them that no one is really talking about. No one has really talked about. We've mentioned this. We've had several videos that have done quite well that have talked about SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, all these drugs, a multi-billion-dollar industry, companies like Merck and Pfizer and others that propagate these types of products and sell hundreds of millions, billions of dollars worth of these drugs that manipulate the synapses in our children's minds, that take the emotion away from them, that actually aggravate schizophrenia and these other emotional, psychological disorders. And so here we have a federal government taking away guns. We have President Barack Obama, newly elected in a second term by a blinded American majority, a blinded American sheeple. Not only are they coming after and crippling the Constitution and disarming Americans before Civil War, before the outbreak of global conflict, which is already, the stage has already been set, and I believe we are already there, and the history books will tell us that, just like Vietnam took 10 years before the history books actually acknowledged it as a war. I think it's what we're seeing now post September 11th, post a September 11th society. But it's obvious that society has already broken down. The very social fabric what we would call normal, the way we call a normal society doesn't even exist anymore. We are all mesmerized, propagandized, and drugged by a very heavy, effective narcotic, far worse than cocaine, crack, heroin, alcohol, or nicotine. It's called mass media. It's called brain manipulation. It's called outright drugs in the name of Prozac, Zoloft, and Paxil. We are being controlled. We are so psychologically manipulated from such an early age that it affects our brain chemistry. Babies, a newborn, being introduced and indoctrinated into a mainstream media society where they're watching cartoons and they're commercialized and they're told what to want and focus not on what they really need and not focus on a moral existence in a moral society and what is actually relevant for finding any kind of happiness in life, are totally brainwashed. And it's exactly what the American people are today, brainwashed. And brainwashed into the idea, into the concept of a consumerist society that really is devoid of any happiness and leaves many of us feeling empty. So a common theme here, and what we're seeing with the Sandy Hook, Scapegoat, and these other tragic shootings and these other killings that we've investigated in quite detail, is not only has there been tremendous motive, but this has been in the works for decades. This is all a part of the plan. This is all about grabbing guns, banning the Second Amendment, confiscating weapons, and disarming the American people before the outbreak of a wider societal collapse. And it's coming. And I would argue it's already here. I'm Christopher Green. You've been watching Green Wave TV, alternative media television, and I just delivered the Daily Wave. Hard hitting and in your face.
Hey, Apple!
What?
Knife!
Huh?
Ooh! Oh, I warned you! Ow! Oh, that looks like it hurts. Tried to warn him.